Hey folks, Keric here, and as you can tell by the title in the background, we're just about to undertake the behemoth that is the Legacy of Kain series, initially developed way back in 1993 by Silicon Knights and published in 1996 with a little bit of help from Crystal Dynamics. This game was meant to be a more grown-up, cerebral affair than most games of the time. So let's get right to it and see how they did.
There is a magical operation of maximum importance. The initiation of a new aeon. When it becomes necessary to utter a word, the whole planet must be bathed in blood. Call your dogs! They can feast on your corpses!
The destruction of the circle by Vorador the vampire there, of course.
For fulfilling the circle mallet of the Satafan, you are hereby damned. The pleasures of the flesh are no longer yours. You have but one purpose, damned warrior. You will serve us for eternity.
And almost as a footnote, the murder of the Balance Guardian Ariel. Which of course causes the pillars to crack and decay.
The tavern's closing. Best be on your way, stranger. What? No mug of ale for a weary traveller from distant Corhagen? I can reward you well, for I am of noble blood. I stay open for no man in these dark times. Things come with the night that no sane man would welcome. And so I left, cold of heart and soul, forced to the road and the long, bitter night.
Very short interlude with the mortal Kain there. Not much point in really doing much apart from dying here. It's pretty much a scripted event.
End it, now!
They, victors, suffering to the conquered. Ironic that now I was the one suffering. Not anything as pedestrian as physical pain, rather the cruel jab of impotent anger. The hunger for revenge. I didn't care if I was in heaven or hell. All I wanted was to kill my assassins. Sometimes you get what you wish for. The necromancer Mortanius offered me a chance for vengeance, and like a fool, I jumped at his offer without considering the cost. Nothing is free, not even revenge.
have the blood you hunger for.
And there we have it. Kain's birth as a vampire.
I awoke to the pain of a new existence, in a dank womb of darkness and decay. The sanctuary spell enables me to travel to my crypt, where the soil of my grave provides me respite. I often resort to this when I am weak and need nourishment.
As you can tell, the file on the left-hand side of the status area fills up whenever you drink blood.
Reputed to have been ripped from the chest of the greatest vampire to have ever existed, Janos Audron, the heart of darkness restores vampiric unlife. Life is precious, Janos discovered, as it was torn, throbbing and bleeding from his own body.
There's quite a bit of voice acting to go through in this area, so I'm going to be fairly quiet.
This ancient vial bears with it a dark gift indeed, for with it my life force is increased. These ancient symbols of power contain raw magical energy that increases my own capacity to summon energy for the spawning of spells. Within the walls of these chambers I could find respite, and if I so chose, resume my journey when my weariness abated.
Also, the save points take absolutely forever, so I'll be cutting those out.
The world had changed to my eyes. I had not expected such cruelty from the light. For in the embrace of the sun I could find no comfort, only malice. This would change in time for the worse, along with other things.
You'll notice quite a lot of kind of items just out of reach at the moment. A lot of the time you can get them with later abilities in the game. They count as secrets, but I won't be doing 100% purely because they're not really worth it. Some of them have stuff that's interesting, I suppose, really, but they all tend to just be pickups. And you get enough of those anyway. A bit different when it's actually something interesting. Always nice when you get two at once. I know they say more than a mouthful is a waste, but Kain's got a rather big mouth. So as you can tell, the game itself is pretty much a top-down hack and slash kind of a game.
These curious devices hurl bolts of whirling energy and eviscerate my human enemies by stripping ragged flesh from blood-stained bone.
There are a few kind of push block or switch puzzles. But the mainstay of the game is hack and slash, collecty type stuff. You do have different forms, different abilities and things to pick up, which kind of improves it a bit. Still quite an ambitious game for a game that was what started about 10 years ago. This is a secret area. You do get strength upgrades later on in the game, so not much I can do at the moment other than bypass it. Like I said, secret areas do tend to consist mainly of collectible items. There's nothing desperately needed in any one of them. Just a quick save before we leave. Now we're all saved up, it's just a case of going back outside again.
When rainfall comes, vampires are wise to find shelter from its acidic touch. Hunger and weakness are no bar to vengeance's call. I would find my slayers and send them back whence I came. Bay Victor!
Time for a little bit of revenge.
We put you down once, we could do it again.
What trickery is this?
Make sure to keep the blood meter topped up.
Forever etched upon my
There are
memory.
quite a few of
I
them.
had crossed death for this moment. My mind was empty save for one thought. I would kill.
Oh, you
No
will.
greater release than that from vengeance sated. With my assassins dead, my quest was over.
Just a case of pretty much clearing out the area. Nothing really major to worry about in these initial screens.
Tis not over, Kain. These fools were merely the instruments of your murder, not the cause. Look to their masters, look to the pillars, and gain way to the fortress of the mind.
This was where the bloody deed of my murder took place.
The voice content in the game overrides pretty much everything else, so you will see points where I'll kind of stand still for a little while, if you just bear with me. Back into the very pub we started the game in. There is a secret on the other side of the bar as well. Unfortunately, we don't have the abilities required to get there just yet. Towns and villages in the game are fairly basic affairs. Pretty much just using them as a way to refill your stocks. Sometimes you'll stumble across a few dungeony type areas in them, especially in the later ones. But initially it's just a case of filling up your stock of cards. Pretty much does this for that time.
The necromancer had offered me no warning as to what my resurrection would entail, and yet I must confess in my haste I had not sought one. Was his gift a curse? I would seek the pillars for an answer.
Water in this game, as in all of the series, is pretty damaging to your health, so even something as basic as rain and snow in this game will slowly damage your health over time. So worth keeping an eye on.
Bay Victor!
These guys, of course, attacking on the 8 cardinal points of the compass, so pretty easy to get your way around them. Slowly make our way through the masses towards the pillars.
The pillars of Nosgoth. Even in life, few sights have moved me such as this. I marvel that such beauty should grace our dying world.
And of course the button to drink blood happens to be the same one to replay those areas.
Night dawns, and with it, the vampire grows stronger.
Night and day in the game obviously also have a little bit of a play. Changing your strength. And this is where we first meet Ariel, the ex-Balance Guardian.
Nopraptor, your madness has shattered our dreams and blinded you.
Keep your distance, or I'll send you back to hell, spirit!
There is nothing left of me to fear, vampire. I'm only a shadow of my former self, Ariel, the balance of the Circle of Nine. Even so, I can provide the answers you seek.
I seek only a cure.
There is no cure for death, only release. You must destroy the sorcery that is now poisoning Nosgoth. Only then will you realize peace. The 9 of the Protectors of Hope were sworn to use their powers to preserve our world. Now these pillars have been corrupted by a traitor. My murder at the hands of this beast drove my love Nopraptor mad. Now he spreads misery and pain among the Circle, crumbling the very foundation of Nosgoth. You must restore balance. You must right the pillars of Nosgoth.
I care not for the fate of this world.
Then for yourself, Kain. Beware the unspoken.
Nopraptor, with his blind act of vengeance, threatened to destroy all of Nosgoth. Each Circle member was bonded to the pillar he served. The pillars reflected the mental state of their servants, and as the minds of the Circle degenerated and descended farther into dementia, the pillars crumbled. To restore them, each member of the Circle had to die, and the artifact that served as their link to the pillar had to be returned. Only when all the pillars were restored did Ariel claim my curse would end. And so, my hunt for Nopraptor began. The Pillar of Balance.
Just a little tour of the pillars.
The Pillar of the Mind.
One of the few times where we actually get to see them all.
The Pillar of Dimension. The Pillar of Conflict. The Pillar of Nature. The Pillar of Energy. The Pillar of Time. The Pillar of Death. The Pillar of States.
So there we go. Introduction to what's going on, and we're going to go and find Nopraptor.